Get more insight on exactly that as we welcome Dr. Asaf Romirowsky, the Executive Director of Scholars for Peace in the Middle East. He joins us from Philadelphia. So Donald Trump has already said he would use this ceasefire deal as momentum to expand the Abraham Accords, something we're talking about here in studio, the normalization deals, of course, between Israel and Arab countries. Your sense of what this moment means right now, not only for the U.S. and for Israel, but for relations between the two?
Well, thank you, as always, for having me, for starters. Look, I think that, to Nicole's point, I think she's right. I think that what we are going to see now is a great deal of focus on the Saudi track. I think that that's been part of the debate that's been taking place in the U.S. even before Trump has taken office. I think it has proven wrong all along. There was a great deal of debate under the Biden administration that there was a conversation or kind of a switch of, Rafah for Riyadh. That's not the case. I think that Trump believes that he can move along and expand the Abraham Accords through Saudi conversations. The question about the day after tomorrow relating to Gaza, that's still a hotbed, an ongoing question as far as maintaining security. What partners does he have in the region? I think that there's no doubt that part of the impetus for the hostage deal that came about is indeed Trump coming into office. So the Arab world knows that there's a new sheriff in town. It's going to be a very different mentality than how the Biden administration reacted and dealt with a lot of these issues. And I think that there is a great deal of goodwill on the Saudi issue, not to mention the connection as far as fighting terrorism regarding the Houthis, that you will see this moving along. Whether or not how the Palestinian issue falls into all of this, that's still the ongoing question. It's still yet to be seen whether or not actually Hamas and Qatar and all the interlocutors actually follow through on this hostage deal in the next 42 days. And of course, all of that relates to the next 100 days as far as Trump's first 100 days in office.
Well, Donald Trump had said that all hell would break loose if the deal wasn't secured before this very date, the 20th of January. And so that deal was signed. But we wait to see what it means for the coming weeks and the coming months as well. I want to turn our attention to another current threat, and we cannot ignore what exists in Iran right now. How do you see Israel and Donald Trump taking on this nuclear threat? What does it look like?
Well, to my mind, I think that, now there will be full support. I think a sense of relief. There was a sense of relief within the national security apparatus, within the Israeli narrative, and within the American narrative that, of course, the ongoing message has been that Israel's war is fighting America's enemies. The lack of deterrence that was exhibited during the current administration and a much more forceful deterrence as it relates to military options on the table, I do believe that now that you will see much more forceful movement as far as sanctions, as far as military options. Again, the head of the Hydra is indeed Iran. This has been part of the multi-front war on Iran. And so I think that the Iranians are concerned. Again, if you zoom out further, then the bigger concern as it relates to Trump's foreign policy also relates to China and Russia, who are, of course, dealing with the Iranians. And so they are the ones who are maintaining their economic valuability. But I do believe that now we will see some significant movements. And I think the shackles will be taken off as it relates to national security matters when it comes to Israel doing something when it comes to Iran with the full support of the United States.
We keep on hearing about the Trump effect. We also know that Donald Trump is unpredictable, but your sense very briefly about J.D. Vance specifically, because we do know that vice presidents sometimes end up as presidents. So your take on his stance and what it would mean for relations between the U.S. and Israel.
I think at this point, Vance is going to follow suit. I think that there is, Vance is a traditional Republican. He's a little bit, it's yet to be seen how, the comments that he made during the debates regarding Iran, a little bit of like America inward. But I do think that as, there's a difference between campaigning and, of course, taking the oath of office. And so I do think that, Vance is a kind of Republican that will follow the kind of security first and America first mentality that Trump has set forth. And my at this point, point in time, it's again, things are very early. This is Inauguration Day, so things are very early to see how things play out. But I do believe that he will follow suit when it comes to Donald Trump. The concern of the United States, and has been, and this is something that's been synonymous to Israelis as well, has to do with, of course, what has been happening in the United States regarding the Muslim Brotherhood in the United States, security concerns when it comes to the southern border, when it comes to homegrown terrorism. All of this relates, of course, to national security matters. And to my mind, Vance will be strong, as Trump will be on these matters. But again, it's all, this is all early enough in the game. And as you said, Trump is unpredictable, but that's the message that is currently coming out and has been coming out through the entire campaign.
Fascinating times ahead. Thank you so much, Dr. Asaf Romirowsky. Always appreciate your insights. Thank you for being with us from Philadelphia.
Thank you.